Welcome to Culmination, where we're not experts, but we sure have a lot to say. In the process of becoming our best self, I have with me the aspiring engineer, Yusef Sadat Hossieny, to discuss the balance of mind and body. And with that said, let's get started. So my first starting question to you is, how does the mind and body work together?
The mind and body work together like anything else works together, honestly. It's I mean, the whole theme is they work together, right? So what I'd say about specifically the mind and body and how they work together is that you can't really do anything with the body if the mind isn't if you're not in the right state of mind, like if the mind isn't the catalyst, I'd say. You need some sort of like starting motivation, some catalyst to get you to like really want to change physically. Whether that be a pain catalyst, like a desire catalyst. For example, like a lot of people, like I've seen like a bunch. You always see these stories like oh, this guy got into a car accident, right? But now he's like jacked and he can do like a million flips with like handstands with
his
just
pinky
like,
finger
upper body because he lost his lower body in a car accident or whatever, right? Like, even though it may sound cheesy, that's really what it takes sometimes. And so for me, my catalyst was that I was a really chubby kid. I was always the biggest kid in the room. Every time I went to the doctor's office, like my doctor would be kind of like disappointed with me. Like I was just getting worse and worse at times. Sorry?
No, I was just like, oh, that's...
Yeah. It really peaked around like middle school, I think. But I obviously like that's like why I don't remember so much of middle school, is because like it was such a horrible time. And after middle school, I kind of like there was a breaking point after middle school sometime during sophomore year, and I think that was when I got like placed onto my first competitive club soccer team. I was obviously very happy to get on to that soccer team, but when I went to go try out, I could like feel this like kind of like the stares of other kids on my back as I was walking onto the field. Like I wanted to be a midfielder. I was trying out to be a midfielder, and that's like a position where you have to like run a lot. You have to have you have to have stamina while also being able to be mentally sharp. And a lot of kids were like I could like hear their voices like what is this kid gonna do on midfield, huh? He's too fat, he's like he's too slow. I could already hear them. And so and I could tell by the way they treated me during the tryouts too, really. Like that they just didn't like they thought less of me, honestly. Like it like stuff like that. It was more than that. It was all the comments. It was all the like times I looked in the mirror and I just like hated the way I looked.
So sorry to cut in, but it's kind of like we're dealing with two things here, like two conflicts. It's like you physically kind of feel bad because of your weight problem. Like the physical part of that makes you feel unhealthy, makes you feel bad because of it. But you also have kind of that social conflict with everybody. So I just think it's important to kind of say the distinction between these two conflicts, but all kind of centralizing with the idea of like the physical kind of transfers to the mind. Like, because you're physically unhealthy, I mean, you feel unhealthy mentally, but also like it has that social effect where you might be looked down upon, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I'll let you continue, but those were my thoughts to just kind of hone in on the idea.
It all kind of factors into each other. Like, I look a certain way, like other people think of me a certain way, and they project what they think of me, even if it's unintentional, onto me. And that like made me really frustrated at times. Like, I'm just like you, except for my appearance. Like, I was like, why can't you like just accept me? I'm like, that's like what I would ask myself.
Why do you think they did give you a hard time?
I think
they were insecure.
Yeah, like there were a lot of different situations. Like, either they were concerned for me, they were insecure, they had their own insecurities, and they wanted to put someone else down to make themselves feel better. Or I don't know, they just didn't know that they were really hurting me by like what they said and did towards me. But either way, it all kind of balled up mentally, and I was in my head, it all just clumped together, this huge ball. It was just that's what I used to fuel my transformation. Really, like that, like every time I like felt like didn't feel like doing like a certain workout, I'd be like, you know what, if I don't do this workout, I'm gonna stay the way I am. I'm gonna, like, these people are gonna keep on calling me these names. I'm never gonna, like, feel better about myself. I'm never gonna, like, that's what really motivated me to keep on going.
Yeah, and that's an example of how the mental affects the physical.
Yep.
Keep going.
Yeah, that catalyst, it's different for everyone. Like, it doesn't just have to be like if you're overweight. You could be really skinny, or you could go through some like traumatic incident and you just need something to take that out on, and that's what like fitness, that's the like the what would you call it? Like, you put all of your anger and frustration into it.
Just kind of like a
like
a choke or a release,
punching bag, basically. That's what fitness is to a lot of people.
Just a way to relieve that
anger
and everything.
And by like relieving that, like frustration and anger and stuff, you're like at the same time you're improving yourself at the same time. That, like, so there's so many benefits to it, really. Finding that one thing that you can take all your anger and frustration out on, that will only come with benefits.
Yeah. And it's like you're fighting, not only are you fighting against like whatever workout you're doing, like push-ups, like amount of reps on that, or like a certain weight, like 180 on bench or whatnot, but like you're also like fighting with yourself internally to like show yourself that I can do this, and if I push harder, if I'm disciplined enough, I can get through this.
Yeah, like maybe Amy will get back together with me if I like can bench press this much. Maybe she'll think I'm strong. Like, I mean,
yeah, maybe
that's a pretty bad example, but anything that'll get you to squeeze out one more repetition.
Or yeah, like the point of quote unquote Amy is just like some sort of drive, whether that's like impressing somebody, impressing yourself, to get healthier, to win a competition. Like, it doesn't really matter as long as it's kind of constructive in the end, because sometimes it can actually be a negative. What do you think is actually a negative like mindset to have, but is an incentive?
I'd mainly think of like hateful things. I definitely will admit I had this mindset at times while I was
Tread carefully.
while I was going through this transformation. Having resentment towards someone, and that's what fuels your workout. It's probably not the mentally healthiest thing, but it does get you your results. Like, it does put you in that state of mind, that trance, because you're fueled by your rage,
and that's probably more destructive than constructive.
Yeah, it can be destructive if that rage that type of mindset can easily get directed towards something else other than just your own physical improvement. Like, that can get out of control, get out of hand really fast.
And it's like, kind of as a disclaimer with that, it's like thinking of something you're angry at and then working out. It's like, that might not be bad because you're just relieving stress. But I guess we're talking about like if it's vengeance or something. Like, I'm gonna get really strong so I can go beat up Jimmy in the parking lot.
Yeah. Like, Jimmy flipped my nipples, man. I hate that. I'm gonna go and like break his neck or something.
You got it.
Hey, man.
I was gonna tell you PG, but that was also really funny.
What? That's PG. Come on.
I guess, but like, I don't want to hear any bean dip references on my family-friendly, clean podcast. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, the way that the mind works with the body.
Yep.
It's an interesting. I'm gonna snap his neck.
Hey, man, you gotta keep it interesting.
but yeah, don't do that. Is the point? Don't do that.
Okay. Another thing that I wanted to like address with the whole mind and body thing is like that we were talking more of the mind aspect there, but now I want to get into more of like what like the body experiences from this whole mind, from your mind, like with the help of your mind, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Like, I kind of like, Casey said I was an aspiring engineer in the beginning. Like, I've always kind of thought of things in that in like that sort of mindset that maybe someone like an engineer would have. Like, I think of your body, I would say the best way to think about your body voice crack is to think about it like it's a machine. Like, a machine, you gotta if you want that machine, like, you can make it last for as long as you want, as long as you take care of it properly. You do proper maintenance on it. You use like the right grease or oil on the gears. You use like if it's like a car or something, like either like diesel or like premium fuel. If you take care of it, it can last forever, and it can perform just as well as it did when it was brand new. And
Yeah,
that's
just like a machine.
your body.
thing with moving parts and all these mechanics to it.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. And especially when you see the results of it, like when you see a certain body part, like a certain muscle group growing because you do the proper exercises, when you see like your like your abdominal muscles even, like, which is pretty like douchebaggy sounding, but like you like start to see your abs, you can see some definition in your arms maybe, or in your legs, from dieting well and doing the proper exercises along with that. And it's just pure science at that point. Like, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
And this is another thing. Mind muscle connection. Have you heard of that term?
Mind muscle connection.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds self-explanatory, but what is it?
It's a pretty popular term. Like, a lot of coaches and instructors use it when they're talking about like fitness. Um this mind muscle connection is not something that you gain, or it's something that you gain, but you don't have it as a beginner. You have to earn it, really.
Hmm.
From being persistent, from taking care of your body, from doing all of the right things,
Okay.
you can gain this skill, mind muscle connection. And after you get that mind muscle connection, your improvement will start like going up exponentially. Like, your progress will go up exponentially.
What is the connection exactly? Is it just like kind of like a self-awareness type thing?
Not really. It's a lot. It's literally just a mind muscle connection. Like, you can feel your muscles contracting. Like, you're doing a certain exercise, and
Oh,
you can really feel what's going on where you want results. Like,
yeah.
let's say you're doing a bench press, which is something that I've always, like, that's my weak point, honestly, is
Uh-huh.
bench press. Um, I've always struggled to find a mind muscle connection with it, but after lots of practice, like, I've been able to find it. And now whenever I bench press, I have to think really hard. I have to be like, all right, Yusef, squeeze your triceps. Like, keep your triceps tense. Don't let them relax. And, like, keep your arms at this angle, grip the bar this tight, and things like
Hmm.
that. You really start to feel like you're actually able to control what
Yeah.
your tricep does. And like, obviously the chest hasn't been a trouble spot for me,
Yeah.
but my triceps have, because, like, I don't know, I've just had really bad arm genetics. But
So it's just like you know your limitations, like you know exactly how much weight you can carry because like when you're like pushing with
no, I
the
don't
bench
I don't
press.
think it's like that. It's like you can kind of tell your body what to do. Like, if you want it to, you can really control it. Like, you obviously know what your body is doing at all times,
Yeah.
but you can't really always control it. With a
Oh, okay.
muscle connection, you can control how tense a muscle is, what amount of force you want to be coming from that muscle. Like, it's it's really just knowing your body better.
I
And
guess that's the distinction there. It was like I was confused. I thought it was more about the self-awareness, but you're basically saying that it's like not only is it self-awareness, but you can like specifically control it. as if it was like a mixer for music. It's like you can individually like
Yeah.
turn down the knobs or
Yeah.
hold up or down the sliders, like just for the right amount of sound that you need.
Yeah. Like you're tuning your body to get the exact results you want out of it. Like
Yeah.
if you can master that, then you can like really transform your body.
Mm-hmm.
Which like the first time I experienced a mind muscle connection and started using it, it was really cool because I felt so much more in control of myself, and that like led to increased confidence. You know, lots of benefits.
Yeah. Just because you're in control.
Yep.
Kind of touches back.
A sense of control for me, honestly, is like the most satisfying thing. Not like I'm not like a control freak, but
No, it's just like you owned it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to get into like kind of your powerlifting and whatnot?
Yeah, sure. I can talk a little bit about that.
All right.
So,
like putting it to perspective here.
Yeah. So I'm like into fitness. Like everyone has got the memo that I'm into fitness, right? But what I really like became passionate about was powerlifting. Like a couple of my friends introduced me to it, and the first time I picked up a barbell and like was able to like lift up this certain amount of weight, like it was just empowering. Like I felt significant. I don't even know in what way significant, but I felt significant. You know, like, oh, I can lift a 200 plus pound piece of metal off of the ground. Like it's just like a like a talent. You know, it makes you interested. It makes you different, and
but also you're just stronger and you feel that. Yeah. Like I can take on the world. Like, need me to move that giant shifter robe? Well, I'll do it immediately, you know?
Yep. And so that's what I've really been focusing on is powerlifting. And I signed up for a competition a few months ago, and this competition is kind of my chance for everything that I've been like putting into fitness to kind of like pay off. Like it's proving to myself that I have changed. I've truly bettered myself. It's like I'm proving that to myself by participating in this competition and hopefully breaking a couple state records. Hopefully.
Yeah, but it's mostly for the internal, and that's just like icing on the cake.
Yeah, like that's just the like IRL manifestation of me being a better version of myself compared to the chubby kid who had no confidence.
Really. Be careful who you bully in high school.
Sorry, what?
It's like, be careful who you bully in high school, because he's gonna come back and break this
is now.
Record. Look at him now. Feel old yet?
Oh my god.
Two.
Okay.
Yeah, continue.
1, 2, 3.
So this powerlifting competition is in March, and a couple of my friends are going to be participating with me, which I'm really excited about. It's gonna be so fun. And the records that I'm gonna be trying to break are the squat record and the bench record in my weight class and age group. So in my my age group is under 18, and the record is, I think for squat, I think it's like 335 pounds for the squat. Is a one rep maximum squat for the last person who broke the record, right? I'm confident I can get that. I've been training like with that like sort of weight, around that weight.
Mhm.
and like I'm confident. Bench, it was the same person who broke this record as well. It's 180 pounds on bench, and this one I'm a little less confident in because, like I said, bench press is my weak point. And then there's the deadlift, which
Well, wait. Before you cut into the or start talking about a deadlift, like you said, you already kind of know that bench press is kind of your weakness, but wouldn't that already kind of set you up with a handicap? Like that mental knowledge that it's your weakness?
no, not really. Honestly, if anything, it just like makes me like even like more motivated to break that record. Honestly,
Okay.
like even when I got started getting into fitness, like people would be like, your bench press is still weak though, like still got small arms, like I was like, I used to get like really pissed off by those sort of comments, but
Yeah.
like I kind of turned that frustration, like no matter where I turned, even when I was like unhealthy, like I had frustrations, and even now when I have significantly improved, I still have those insecurities and frustrations. They're just different now.
Yeah.
But I still use those frustrations to get the results I want.
Like using them for good purposes.
Yeah, like improving my bench press.
Yeah, I was just wondering, just a question.
Yeah.
Go on.
All right, on to deadlift. Deadlift. Oh boy, you see, like, I use a home gym. I made a home gym, and so I don't have the appropriate equipment to deadlift. Otherwise, I may break a lot of my equipment. So I don't think I'll be breaking that record anytime soon, which is a 435 pound deadlift. Mine currently is like a 390 pound deadlift. So I mean, that was my last one like months ago.
Oh boy,
Still,
it's like 3 times my weight.
but still, I don't think
Picking up 3 of me, man.
Hey man, we can try it sometime. But
yeah, let me call my clones by. We'll set something up.
Yeah.
I'll continue.
But yeah, I mean, like, the cool thing about the like my deadlift though is that these are 3 compound lifts: squat, bench, and deadlift. They are all compound lifts, and that means that you use multiple muscle groups to carry out that action. So from squatting and benching, I am still gaining like I'm still indirectly like not improving my deadlift, but really aiding it. Like I still get stronger at deadlift even if I'm only doing squat and bench because of those compound lifts that are targeting the same muscle groups, which I think is really cool. Like it's kind of like that machine concept again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited for that competition. I really hope I'm gonna break those records. I know I'll break those records. How about that? I know I'll break those records. And my yeah, like somewhere along the way, the like frustrations and anger that I had honestly just turned into excitement about my own improvement,
Mm-hmm.
which is a good thing. That means it was a healthy transformation.
How did you like funnel it into that though? Like, how did you concentrate that, like turn it into something that could help you, that could be constructive? Because I'm just thinking about like somebody watching this video and just kind of like getting some insight.
Um, hmm. So I mean, the first step is just to for me was just like going to a gym and like kind of not messing around, but like when you go to the gym, you kind of, no matter what, you get into a sort of into your zone. And
Yeah.
that's where I could really bring in my frustrations and like I could draw, I don't know how to describe it. You like draw power from that, um,
Like the atmosphere.
yeah, yeah, like the atmosphere combined with your own like mental catalyst that I was talking about, those frustrations,
Yeah.
really like really gets you pumped up and really gets you um like on the right path
Yeah.
to
I mean,
improving your
for me personally, it's just like, I'm not like the biggest gym guy, and I also haven't really gone into one since this pandemic started. But I just remember like you see all these different machines for different things, like, or I mean, you have like barbells and like more analog thing, or I guess it's all analog, but like, like more weight type stuff towards the right of the gym, and then towards the left is like all these like specific machines to work on things. And then you have like ellipticals, treadmills, like yoga balls, like just all of these different contraptions. So I mean, that of itself was kind of fun to me. Like I just like, ooh, look at these things. Yeah, you can tell I'm not really the most
not
serious
a
guy with this
playground,
stuff.
Casey.
Huh?
It's not a playground,
No,
Casey.
but it's fun a little bit. Well, okay, but even if it's not fun, like in the way, like in the childhood fantasy playground that I'm like describing it to be, it's just like it's a certain kind of like, all right, we have opportunity here. And not to mention the fact that like you see all these other people working out, like doing their own things here. And oftentimes they often like, that was redundant, but oftentimes they give you advice of their own, or like
Yeah.
say, oh, it looks like you're doing this wrong, and if you're doing this wrong, it'll hurt yourself. So try it like this. So it's
Yeah,
just this nice little community thing.
yeah, that sense of camaraderie is like something I definitely didn't expect to get from that environment. I thought like everyone would like like laugh at me or like like just judge me for being
Yeah, and I
weird.
feel like a
But
stereotype,
really,
or like
like
a,
everyone
like
there
sometimes you might
it's
be,
just like wholesome. Like that's it's I know that's an interesting word to use, but it's very wholesome. A very wholesome environment at times. Everyone's trying to improve themselves while also helping others improve.
Well, what I was trying to say is it's kind of like this is kind of along the lines of like therapy too. It's just like somebody wouldn't want to, or no, I'm saying like somebody wouldn't want to see a therapist because they feel like they need help and it's kind of humiliating. So it's kind of like the same thing where it's like you might be afraid to go to the gym because you expect it to be this place of like, oh, everyone's gonna look at me because I'm fat or I don't know what I'm doing or something else. But it's like what we're describing is it's not really like that, you know?
Yeah.
Or like there's some crummy people, but overall.
Oh yeah, those people that like actually come and like make fun of you for any reason, they're probably worse off mentally than you are, honestly, and they're just desperate to make themselves feel better, but just don't pay attention to those people.
Yeah, but overall it's a good experience.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
So I don't know. What do you want to cover? We could probably turn this into a conclusion. Um,
Yeah, I think this is a good place for a conclusion.
yeah. So, kind of, what's the big picture, Yusuf? Like, what's the takeaway from this topic of the mind and body?
Ah, your mind and body are real. It's just a really cool concept that they affect each other so much. They're not separate at all. I couldn't I definitely could not have, you know, like done what I've done so far, which I mean is not like super impressive, but I definitely but for me it was like a really good transformation. I definitely could not have had that without the right mental push, that
Yeah.
catalyst. I definitely would not be as like mentally stable as I am now without without my physical sort of triumphs, like I always have those triumphs in the back of my head, like kind of as my own, like I can use to like console myself.
Yeah.
Like if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. And overall, it's just like, I mean, this comes back to the locus of control. I mean, everything comes out of the locus of control, but just like the mindset matters. And if you have a negative mindset, then it might impact you negatively. If you have a good mindset, it'll only continue to help you as you I don't remember. We did another recording that kind of failed before this, but I don't remember if we covered that in this one. But we kind of talked about diet and kind of how that comes in when you when you start getting more serious in the workout game. It's just like you just have this good attitude and you're constructive about everything you do. So it's like it just builds and builds exponentially. Like at first you just enter the gym because you want to get started, but then pretty soon you're thinking about a routine, then you're thinking about like what you want to work out, why you're working out, and then you think about like diet, because this phrase is kind of funny, but it's true. It's like a buddy of mine told me this, like you make abs in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, that's a very popular phrase in the fitness world.
Yeah.
And it is true,
Yeah.
because like the thing a lot of people don't understand, like I've seen so many people have this misconception, is that you can like target areas to burn fat on. Like
Yeah.
you can't do that. You have your fat is basically just clothing around you, and your muscles are hidden underneath the fat.
Yeah.
So you grow your muscles. You can target growing your muscles. You cannot target where you lose fat. You lose fat generally. And the more you lose fat overall, the more you'll be able to, like, it's just like, I mean, taking off your clothes. Like, you can see what's
Yeah.
underneath, right? It's showing underneath. So, like, just a bit of advice. If anyone ever sees, like, target belly fat, get rid of that belly fat. It is probably the worst program you could ever buy. It's a waste of money. That's not a good thing. I'm like, just a piece of advice.
You should start your own workout program.
Mm,
Maybe your own podcast.
I learned most of my stuff from like YouTube and
Yeah.
and like Wikipedia.
I guess speaking of like advice though, we're not experts of course, but what do you think is your biggest piece of advice for somebody who wants to get into working out, and like just what's the best piece of advice like to encourage them?
Um, don't care about what others are thinking about you. Just do what you know is good for you, and you'll end up in the right place.
Hmm.
Like once again, like the whole like people judging you in the gym. Like I was like always, that was holding me back for a while. Like I wouldn't do certain exercises because like I was like, oh, I probably look so stupid doing
Yeah.
this exercise, and like people might come and laugh at me. But honestly, no one cares.
Yeah.
No one
Yeah.
cares. Just do it. It's good for you. You'll
Uh-huh.
learn the right form, or like you won't look stupid. You'll look like everyone else.
Mhm. And there's a psychology term called the spotlight effect, where it's basically like everyone thinks that, like, basically how you described, it's like, I'm not gonna do this one exercise because people are gonna look at me and judge me, but it's like the reality is most people, like, probably 98% don't care or aren't paying attention to you. So it's like this,
Yeah.
you think that the spotlight is on you, but there's not a spotlight. You're not on stage. People are worrying about their own things.
Mhm.
Oh, what? What did you say?
I said, yep.
Oh, I just heard like boop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you said yep. I don't know. Also, this isn't about working out. It's about singing actually, but I just thought to mention this. Kind of a similar idea of like, so I've always done band. I mean, you know that because uh, I was in band with you. We did marching band and everything. But this year I decided to switch to choir because I've actually always loved to sing. But I mean, here's the thing, I'm self taught. I've been singing for my entire life, but I've always felt embarrassed of it. Like, it just felt weird. Like, I decided to do like percussion or other instruments because it was like, I don't know, you just play them, but something about the voice felt very personal and I wasn't very confident. So it was just very strange. But what I noticed is when I entered choir, it's like because you're so self-conscious of it, you automatically sing worse. And like you sing, it's so strange. You sing worse because you don't want to be like seen as bad. So you get this, you like limit your potential by singing worse so that people don't call you out, but they end up caring more because you're singing worse. So it's so strange. like that complex. But the reason why you do that is
Yeah,
just
I
because you're
definitely
like,
understand what you're saying. Like, I'm gonna
yeah,
interject with my own example. Like when I used to play soccer, I always played my best when I didn't care. When I
mhm,
truly didn't care. Like big games, I would always get nervous and I'd always screw up really
yeah,
bad.
the more you
But
focus on it.
when I was like playing like with my like just during practices or whatever, and I just
Uh,
wanted to have fun and didn't really care about the consequences, I'd like I was freaking Neymar, man.
yeah,
You know, like Messi, what Cristiano
exactly.
Ronaldo. Like I was popping off every time, and you know, it's just because that nervousness really gets to you, and
Yeah,
you overthink every single little thing. You can't actually focus on what
yeah,
you're all you're thinking about is, "Oh, what happens if, like, I make this mistake or this mistake?" And then you end up not, like, taking any action or, like, making a really bad choice
yeah.
because you pressure yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's terrible, but a lot of us face that. Um,
Yeah.
but it's just so interesting when, like, if you actually, like, try to sing, like, sing your best, like, just like, if you wanna try to pop off, as you said, using my Gen Z lingo right here,
Yep.
like, if you try, it's night and day. It's like, "Wow, wait, I actually sound good, like, I'm actually, like, honing in on my true potential, or at least getting there. I'm not caring about what people think. Oh, and actually, you might get complimented too." It's like, "Huh, this is weird. Wait, what if I actually tried?" But, like, I don't know, a lot of people don't think to do that. I mean, in my experiences of band, like, I had the same thing, like, I was kind of shy about it or whatnot, but I ended up being a section leader my junior year, which was last year, just for 1 season, but that helped me a lot because it's like everyone's counting on me, so I have to do my part, and that's something else, but it's just like when people rely on you, it's like you're gonna have to step up to the plate a little bit. Speaking of stepping up to the plate, we played baseball. Like, this is another example. It's just be your best. Like, not only do you not let people down, but just like you just be your best. Like, it may seem hard. It is hard. I'm telling you, it's hard because I went through it. But it's also really easy to just try. Like, think about it as in, like, if I try, if I do this, this is gonna be really cool. I'm gonna have a lot of fun, and the reality is people don't really care. And in fact, if I try, I'm already like 2 standard deviations above most people who I'm, like, with currently. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Like, a thing that many of my coaches would always tell me was that I was way too hard on myself. Like, after every single mistake, I would, sorry, I would, like, just beat myself up forever about even a tiny mistake, and that
Probably
and
the
that
same.
just, like, made me lose hope. It would put me in the, like, like, polar opposite mindset that you should be in,
Yeah,
um, but, like, kinda just being comfortable with, like, making mistakes because everyone makes mistakes can help you improve a lot. Like, it might take you might not be perfect, but and it might take some time, but you'll learn, you'll like, have another chance,
yeah,
and if you don't focus on all the negatives, you'll actually learn how to, like, not make that mistake again. You Like, nothing's distracting you anymore.
yeah. Um, Also, I just want to bring in this kind of quote. So a friend of mine recommended me like a podcast that's about like super success, not just like success, but like we're talking like billionaire and whatnot. And the guy like talks to you like a drill sergeant. Like it's not for if you're sensitive to that kind of stuff, it's not for you. It was kind of intimidating. Um, well, it's actually kind of funny as a side note because it was like I would listen to it when I was playing like a Yoshi game, like the most like wholesome
Like,
thing, and I'm just listening to this guy yelling at me of how I need to get off my arse and do something. I don't know. It was just funny, but one of the key takeaways that I liked from him was he said this: never play to lose, obviously. But never play not to lose. Play to win. That's a game changer right there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, kind of what we were saying, like, or in singing, baseball, soccer, working out, everything. Just like, why are we playing to not lose? It's like, yeah, I get it, so we can survive. But,
Eyes on the prize.
huh? Oh wait, yeah, I heard you. Never mind.
Eyes on the prize.
Yeah. It was just seriously, but even that, it's like, stop trying to just survive. Like you're here, or granted, like probably what you're doing. Like if you're on the soccer team, you already made it. So why are you trying to not get booted off? This is your chance. This is your chance to shine. You know what I mean? Yeah, and with that, it's kind of like with this mindset, playing to win, the mind, you can influence your physical behavior. And in combination with your physical, like good choices you make, like diet and good, like whether it's working out or running or something physical, like they're just interchangeable. They help each other out. They help the machine work, and the end product is a very collected, happy person.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Any thoughts? Because I mean that can be like the closing thing. So any closing thoughts?
That sounds really good. That like synergy that you were talking about.
Yeah.
That synergy with mind and body is really what gets you places.
Yeah.
It's incredibly important in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And like it can be mind and other things. Like it can mind and or like subconscious mind and mind that have that relationship, but like,
this is more so like just to have an episode kind of talking about workout and whatnot, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it's just the internal locus of control. Yep, it's always the locus of control. I swear I'm gonna have to make a t-shirt.
It's always been the locus of control.
I mean, if you think about it, it just is. Because, like, it's all about the mindset. Like, if you take control of your life, like, everything stems from that.
That's right. Like, were you intending to make this podcast like that, where, like, everything starts with, like, the first episode and it's just, like, branching out to different...
Not really. I was planning on making an achievement episode, but I decided to do the locus of control, and it just kind of worked.
Applies to like every other video you've made so far?
Well, kind of, but I mean, if you think about it, every video connects and every video comes together, and the result is the culmination.
Yes.
This isn't like a weird advertisement thing. That's what the idea is. That's the idea.
Everything a great note to end on.
Yep. And with that, thanks for coming on, Yusef.
Yeah, of course, no problem, man.
Yeah, we've been here for a while. What was that?
It is my pleasure.
Yes, sir. And with that, I'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Click, 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 click.